And I believe, I don't think anybody's chosen D quite yet, but that's us, and also the historic building. I think for D, I think quite a few of us mentioned that it's like a film set. I think it's a dereliction. That's the magnetic part of it. So the potentials that's embedded in there. And for me, that reminded me of Richard II, which is filmed in Battersea. And then we move on to the possibility of a kind of ephemeral and kind of temporary use, as a film set that could begin maybe to begin to change the perception of what this site could do. The other area that we looked at is actually C, which is the 1912 building, listed building. And again, what reminded me there is potential of an art project, whether it's found object or something that begins to capture the history. And it doesn't need to be a permanent thing, it could just be a temporary thing. Again, it's about changing the perception of that piece, which sits right in the middle between the university and through to the town centre as a, changing the perceived distance, because it's actually not very long at all. So that was that. And we then talk about uses. The suggestions, there's quite a list. And the suggestions would be hospital, brewery. I think partly the pipe work probably kind of started that thought. Sunday market, hotel, manufacturing, etc. And I think the site is actually really rather big, and there's an awful lot of opportunities that we could pack in there. And from that, we can then move on to, in a way, the height and density that, again, the site is big enough to have a range of uses and the intensity around in the area. And I think lastly, we talked about, or I talked about, the Marconi Road, which is where the role of terrace house just on top. So on one side it's all terraces, on the other side a lot of trees with nothing else. So I think being good neighbours, I think there needs to be a response there to make that particular street work. Our group unfortunately kind of split in half. I don't know where the other half has gone. If I missed anything, do speak up.